Hello friends, welcome back to the Django tutorial. In the last video we have seen that how to install Django and how to set the required settings to create your first web application. I have deleted the project which we have created in the last video because today we will be revise those things again and will create a new project again. So now we have an empty directory, that is Django tutorial. Inside this directory we want to create our first project. But before to create that project we have to set the virtual environment using Python. So how to do that? So let us come to your terminal. Inside the terminal, you have to type the command python space hyphen m space then venv, that is virtual environment, and the name for the environment which you want to give to the virtual environment. So I want to give a name as my env, so my virtual environment. I'll hit the enter and you will find that inside the empty directory Django tutorial we have created one more directory, that is my env. When you open it, you will find there is a set of folders and the files, and inside the bin folder you will find there are several files again. So we want to activate this. We want to activate this virtual environment. To activate this, you need to type source and the directories where activate file is present. So it's my env slash bin slash and activate. Hit the enter and you will find that your virtual environment with the name myenv is activated now. Now you can minimize this directory, and here we want to create our first Django project. So you need to install Django first. So if you have done it globally once, you do not need to do it again. But as we are doing it from the scratch, so I need to install it again. So type python space hyphen m pip install Django and hit the enter. It will install all the required files for the Django. Once installation is done, it will give you a message of successful. So I'll clear my terminal and let us create the first project for the Django. So to create that, we need to write a command Django admin space start project space and the name of the project which you want to give. So I want to give a name to the project is my project and hit the enter. You will find that at the inside the directory Django tutorial there is a project created whose name is my project. If you open this project now, you will find there is another directory with name my project and one file manage.py. So this my project is a directory, and inside that directory we have actual project my project. So if you open it, you will find that there are several Python files are present along with the manage.py for your project. So you need to switch from Django tutorial directory to the directory my project. So type here cd and the name of the project, that is my project, hit the enter. Now you are inside the directory my project. Now here you need to start your server. So to start your server you need to type python and you need to access this file, that is manage.py. So type manage.py space and the command is run server. So it will start your server, hit the enter and it will give you an IP address to start your server. Now click on this IP, you will find you have successfully installed the Django. This is what we have done in the last video. But if you observe the terminal in your VS Code, you will find that it is showing some warnings like you have 18 unapplied migrations because in your project by default project there those files are connected with the database that has to be migrated. Now you want to remove this warning. So what you need to do, you need to stop your server. To stop it, press Ctrl C and type one command which is shown into the warning, that is python manage.py and migrate. So type it again, python space manage.py space migrate and hit the enter. Once it is migrated to your databases, and then you can give an command of run server again, that is python manage.py run server, hit the enter and click on the IP. Now you will see that there is no warning related to the migration, and if you click on the IP again, you will be on the same page where you have installed Django successfully. Now we want to create our first hello world program in Django. So let us come to our code again. Now stop your server, Control C. So now server is stopped, and let us analyze the directory inside your project. So at the left hand side, this is your project along with the manage.py file, and this is the database default provided by the Django file SQLite database. Now we have executed a command migration. That's why this file is there. Now if you open this project, my project, and you will find that there are several files. And now we want to create our first program, that is hello world. So before writing the hello world program, let us try to understand what are these files are. So setting.py is a file which will give you all the information related to the number of applications you are going to create under this project. And urls.py is a file which is maintaining all the URLs related to your project. So we'll discuss it in the detail when we are going to use it. But now let us create one more file which is required to create your first program of Hello World. So this is your project with certain files. So create one more file, right click on your project, create a new file and name this file as views.py. And remember that the name of this file should be views.py inside your project directory, not in the project parent directory. It is inside the project directory. So views.py is an empty file. Now here what you need to do, you need to create one function, and you can create a function by any name. So suppose I want to create a function in the Python, so I need to write def and the name of the function. Here I want to name that function as home, round brackets, colon, and inside the return statement we'll pass something. As we are creating the web application, so it is a request and response from the client and server. So now we are at the server side, we want to send a response to the client side as a output. So we need the help of some packages, and that package is, you have to write from Django dot http import, and the name of the class which you are required is http response, and from this you will get the request and response object. Here inside the home, the function which we have created pass the request object, and in the return statement send your response to the client side with the help of the function called http response, and pass your response. Like for example, I want to pass a response in h1, and here I'll write hello world. So we have done two steps. We have created a views.py inside your project, and we have imported one package from django.http import http response. Again we have created one function with name home, which is getting the request object and sending http response with your message. And here you you just created the function, but still you have not mentioned this in the URL, that this page, this message should be displayed on your home page or by default page. So how will you do that? So let us look at the files which you have inside your project, and now here is the role of urls.py. Open your urls.py file, and here you will find the basic information typed in comment, so I'll remove it. And now you can look at this line number 5. It is showing you that URL patterns and it is maintaining the URLs which are required for your project. Now we want to create our own URL. So I want to display hello world message on my default home page. For that, what you need to do, you just add one more line here, path, round brackets, put the comma at the end and put blank single quote so it becomes your default page, comma, and where is your views. So the views.py is a file which is sending your response. So you need to mention that you want to send this response through this function which is present inside the file views.py. So we have created that in a views.py, and now we need to import this views.py in the urls.py, and therefore you have to import from the current directory import views, and inside this path which is blank means it is default your home page, comma, and from the views file you want to call the function whose name is home which we have given. Now save this much. Let us come to your terminal again and type your command, clear your screen and type the command python space manage.py space run server and hit the enter, and you can see your server is on. Click on the IP and you will see that the hello world message is displayed. And now look at the URL which you got. That URL is just an IP address with the port number. It is not displaying any page name, because we are sending the response directly to the URL which is not having any name to this page. Now let us assume that I want to display this hello world message on the page whose name is suppose test. So how will you do that? Let us come to urls.py again, and instead of this blank single quote you can mention like for example test. Now save this again. You just server is automatically reloaded, or you can run it again by pressing Ctrl C and typing the command run server. Now let us come to your browser again. If you reload it, you will find that it is telling you that there is no page which is default home page, and now we have written the URL name as a test. So what you need to write, you need to write in the URL the IP address slash test, and now then only you will get the hello world. So this is the meaning of the URLs which you are maintaining for your entire project. So I want to display hello world message as a default, so that's why we have kept it as a blank. And now when you come to this IP, so automatically you will get the default page of hello world. Now suppose you want to create a two different pages, so what we need to do that for that, so you will come to the views.py, and here you will find that there is a one function which is sending this response to a particular URL with home. So home is a function which you mapped with the default page, right? Now we want to create another URL, that is path, comma, and give a name. For example, I want to give a name as test, comma, views dot, and I want to create a function whose name is also test. So what you can do, sorry, it should be test. So you need to create one function whose name is test within this views.py. So you will come to views.py again, and here you will create another function def whose name is test, which will handle the request and it will return the response, that is HTTP response, and whatever message you want to send as a response. So here suppose I want to send a response as this is my test page. Now save this, again come to your default home page. Now this is our home page. When you type something in URL like this slash test, you will find you are on the second response which you have sent to the URL. Now for better understanding what I can do, home page is our default page. You can see in the URL we have not mentioned any name for that page, and the test is a page whose name is test, and we have created two different functions. So what I want to do, I just want to change this to the anchor tag instead of h1. So I'll write a here, it's an anchor tag. And now when I click on this particular link, hello world, so I want to send uh, user to the second page whose name is test. Now understand this syntax. We are sending a response that display one anchor tag with the heading h1, and it will display the text hello world. But if you click on this hello world text, or I'll change the message like go to next page. So when you click on this, you want to redirect him to the page whose name is test. And we have already created one test page who is displaying one message, this is my test page, and the URL for both are maintained in the urls.py, one with default page and another one is a page whose name is test. Now let us come to your default page, that is go to next page, and let us observe the URL, it is your home page, and when you click on the go to next, you are on the test page which is displaying one message, this is my test page. So I hope that all of you have got the idea what is the use of views.py and urls.py. We'll see you in the next video.